Hello there, my name is Andrew Druckman, and I'd like to welcome you to the channel because after all, the reason why you clicked on that link is because you want to learn how to get leads as a financial advisor. Well, guess what? You just came to the right place because that is exactly what we are going to be talking about today. That if you haven't done so already, consider subscribing to Traffic Magic because that is what we do. We talk about different tips and strategies to help you get more people to the front door of your business every single day. Because after all, if you have nobody at the front door of your business, you have no business because that is the bloodline to your business. And also something to keep in mind, I'm going to leave a link in the description down below that's going to give you free training on how to drive hundreds of customers to the front door of your business every single day. Now, without further ado, let's get into the action. So the very first tip I'm going to share with you in order to get more leads as a financial advisor is having a strong social media presence. And why that's so important to even have a strong social media presence. Because what you have to understand more than anything else is that we are way past a day and age where people are flipping through the yellow pages to look stuff up or the news articles or whatever have you. Those days are done. Everything has moved over to the internet. Almost everybody, their mama and their mama's mama, they're on social media, whether it being Instagram, that's just going to be for today's example, but it's not the only platform you necessarily have. Excuse me. And it's not the only platform you can necessarily use or have the option to use, whether it being Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, for example, LinkedIn, etc. There's so many different platforms that you can utilize yourself if you want to get more leads for your business. That honestly, if you're not taking advantage of social media, I think you're just doing yourself a total disservice and you're leaving a lot of money on the table, but that's just my personal opinion for you. So that's why I think it's important to have a strong social media presence. And the next thing you want to do is to make sure you figure out exactly who your target audience is going to be. Because once you figure out what your niche is, that's going to give you now a better idea to figure out who your target audience is going to be. Because once you figure out the type of people that you're going to be targeting, whether it being low income or high income people or whatever that demographic of people that you are going to be targeting, it puts you in a better position so that this way you can figure out ways to be able to solve their problems and fulfill their needs. Now we've gone over that, let's go ahead and look up some examples of other content creators in the financial advisor category. Now, before we go any further, I know I just clicked on this. One of the main things that if you get anything out of this video, I want you to understand is that if you want to be able to get a lot of good leads, one of the things I've noticed is that it's always a good idea to follow people and look at people that looks like they've had a lot of success. And the reason why it's okay to model after people is because when you see if someone's doing something right, it just makes all the more sense in the world. If you want to have the same success as what they did, modeling after people just only makes sense. When you model after successful people, more than likely you're going to be successful just like they are. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to do exactly what they did, but I'm going to tell you is that if you can take the general principles of what it is that they're doing and you do that for yourself and you constantly keep posting content every single day or every other day, you're constantly engaging with your audience and with the people that are on social media, I really do think that you will be very successful, but you have to constantly keep working at it every single day or at least every other day because you have to work it like it's a business, not your job. I mean that in the most respectful way that I know how to say that. So let's look at some great examples for a financial advisor. Just right off the bat, look at this 26 passive income ideas. And this is someone that's giving you free information. Obviously, and that's another thing when it comes to free information. Obviously, you have to figure out, you have to use some type of discernment, obviously, to figure out what type of information that you want to give out. In some niches, maybe you might not want to give out too much information in others, but obviously you have to use that type of discernment when it comes to your business, and you have to obviously figure that out. But in this particular case, I think this content, there's nothing wrong with that. And as you build a know, like, and trust with people, I'm going to go ahead and click on this as I'm talking. But As you build a know, like, and people build build a know, like, and people through free content. The thing about it is what you have to understand. The reason why it's important to do that is because when you're giving out free content, they begin to know you through free content. They begin to like you, and eventually they trust you, and you build integrity with people when you're giving them free information, because you're positioning yourself in such a way that you're the go-to person to help them solve their problems and fulfill their needs. And more than likely, people will buy into you through free content, because after all, if they don't know you, they're not just going to buy from you. So I really hope that makes sense. Now, I shouldn't say this guy, excuse me, this person that created what looks like a faceless Instagram account, Mastering Wealth, he's posted over 11,000 posts, and he has over 93,000 followers. That is a lot of followers. That's a lot of posts. This person obviously clearly has been posting every day or every other day. They've obviously been putting the work in. You can clearly see that. And they put a link to their looks like to their sales page right here. And so, and see, that's the thing about this. This is something really anybody can do this, right? Anybody can post content like this. It's really not hard. This is just something you have to be willing to dedicate yourself to and constantly keep working at this. So I do hope that makes sense, because if you want to be successful in anything what you do, you have to keep working at it. But you can clearly see, like, this is a lot of great content. The first 100,000 is I'm not going to say that. You can figure that out. but but yeah, this I think this is a great example. I personally think, don't become carpool. Obviously, figure out how much you're making per year, and then that will give you a better idea of what your car note should be based off of how much you make. Because obviously, after all, not only, if you decide to end up having a car note for whatever reason, obviously you want to be able to afford that while affording your other expenses throughout life, right? So just kind of something to keep in mind, that this right here, like this, I think this is great content right here. This is a great example. So with that being said, let's go ahead and look at someone else really quickly. But this is a great example of someone to model after. And also another one we're going to be looking at right here is this gentleman here, a financial advisor and consulting, Tyrese T. Ingram. I'm probably saying his last name wrong. I apologize. Probably Ingram. Here's the thing. Just right off the bat, even though this one obviously is not a faceless Instagram account, but I did want to point this out, because even though this isn't faceless and he's posting his face, you can see this gentleman is very well presented. Look at him. I mean, he looks like the type of person, if I want to take serious financial advice, when it comes to serious business advice, and when it comes to money or anything along those lines, I'm going to take this guy very seriously, because obviously just right off the bat, the very first impressions of what I see of him right there off the bat definitely goes a long way. So really hope that also makes sense. Let's go ahead and click on this guy really quickly. Okay, so from what I can gather, he has 29 posts and over 10,000 followers. If I had to take a shot in the dark of this, because I could be wrong, don't quote me on this so quickly, but I think this guy has built his target audience mainly outside of Instagram, or at least when he started, because 29 posts is really not a lot of posts to have 10,000 followers, but that's kind of from what I can gather out of this right now. Why did you get life insurance? See, now, posting stuff like this, like why did you get life insurance, asking questions is also a great way to engage with people and try to get them to, like your post, comment, and build relationships with people also through free content, and also engaging with them and talking with them. So I hope that makes sense too. Like, this guy is obviously, he definitely looks like he's very professional. He's very well dressed, very well groomed. I mean, look at him. And this is content that literally anybody can do this. Anybody can post content like this. whether it being you're showing your face or you're not showing your face. I personally think these are some great examples to model after. I think you get the idea at this point. Now, last but not least, one of the things I want to share with you on, also, one of the things you can do is once you've actually built a relationship with people through free content like this, what you can do is you can have your, well, I'm going to tell you, obviously, you're going to want to have your sales funnel here or whatever it is that you're selling, but also I will tell you, if you're willing to give stuff away for free or a discount or whatever have you in exchange for the emailing address, and you still market to them after the fact through email marketing, you can also build a relationship with people that way too. Exchanging, giving them something for free and creating a lead magnet, again, exchanging something for free, giving them something for free in exchange for their email address is definitely something that definitely has been working over time through email marketing. And that is something you should also take very seriously too, because email marketing can also be very powerful because that is your own personal traffic list. Now that I shared with you some valuable tips, if you felt like you got some value out of this, I would really appreciate if you give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment in the comment section down below. I always want to know what you got to say. And also, remember, I'm going to leave a link in the description down below that's going to give you free training so that this way you can learn how to drive hundreds of customers to the front door of your business every single day. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!